Good day, guys. Sizobuka trigonometry right now, grade 10 and 11. Basically, this series of videos I'll be looking at trigonometry for grade 11. But obviously, we're going to start by looking at a little bit going back to grade 10. So we must have familiarized ourselves with those kind of drawings, the special angles. Special angle at 30 degrees, at 60 degrees, okay? Guys, you need to memorize this. You need to know them off by heart. Write them down somewhere, revise them so that you know by head. Okay, so if it's in a 30 degrees there and 60 degrees, we'll have 1, 2 there, and then root 3. For 45, we can have 1 there and 1 there, and then root 2 will be on the hypotenuse. Okay, so then we're going to look at arithmetic ratios, sine, cos, as well as tan for 30 degrees. Okay, so you remember that you also learned about SOHCAHTOA. Okay, that sine is opposite of a hypotenuse, cos is adjacent of a hypotenuse, and tan is opposite of adjacent. So I'll use that information to write all those. Now, if I'm looking at 30 degrees, that means 30 degrees there is my reference. So I'm looking at 30 degrees there. So the side that is opposite to 30 degrees would be 1. The one that is adjacent to 30 degrees will be root 3. The side that is the hypotenuse of 30 degrees will be that one. Remember, the hypotenuse won't change. The hypotenuse side is the longer side that is opposite to 90 degrees. Okay? So therefore, I can write sine 30, cos 30, and tan 30. I want you to pause the video and try and write those using that special angle. Right. You should find that sine 30 is 1 over 2. Cos 30 is going to be root 3 over 2. As well as tan of 30 is going to be 1 over root 3. Can also look at 60 degrees. Now I'm using 60 degrees there. Therefore 60 degrees is going to be my reference. So I can also look for sine of 60 degrees, cos of 60 degrees, as well as a tan of 60 degrees. Now, what will change? Now, your sides will change, okay? Because now you're looking at 60 degrees. 60 is your reference. So this is the side that's going to be opposite to 60 degrees. And then this side is going to be adjacent to 60 degrees. And then the hypotenuse will not change. So this is the opposite side, the adjacent, as well as the hypotenuse. I want you again to pause the video and write your sine of 60 degrees, cos 60, and tan of 60. Right, you should find root 3 over 2 for sine 60 degrees. Cos of 60 should be 1 over 2, and tan of 60 degrees should be root 3 over 1. Again, guys, you can also do the same thing for sine 45, cos 45, and tan 45. Now, remember, for this triangle, it does not matter because if you have got 90 degrees there as a right angle triangle, either side, all your angles there in your triangle will be 45 and 45 respectively. So it doesn't matter which one you choose. Okay. So you have opposites, adjacent, and hypotenuse for either of these two angles. Right. So pause again there and then you write sine 45, cos 45, and tan 45 using the triangle. When you have done that, you should find root sine 45 as 1 over root 2, cos 45 as 1 over root 2, and then tan 45 would be 1 over 1, which is the same thing as a 1. Right, so what we can do is we can also look at a reduction formula together with the special angles. So the special angle that we're going to be looking at for now will be a special angle of 30 degrees, 45, 30 degrees, 45, as well as 60 degrees. So we know reduction formula. We use a reduction formula if we want to reduce a bigger angle to an angle of an acute angle. So we can look at 180 plus or minus theta. So and then we say when my theta is 30 degrees, I'm using 30 degrees there because 30 degrees is one of my special angles. So if I've got theta as 30 degrees, I can use 180 plus 30 degrees, which is going to give me 210. And then 180 minus this is going to give me 150 degrees. And then if my theta again, you can also look at reduction formula for 360. Sorry. 360 again, if my theta again is 30 degrees, I'll have 360 plus 30, I'll get 390. And then 360 minus 30, I get 330 degrees. When my theta is 60 degrees, 60 degrees again, my 60 is what? Is one of my special angles. Alright? So I can have 180 plus 60. I get my answer, which is 240. 180 minus 60 is 120. 360 minus, plus 60 is 420. 360 minus 60 is 300. You can also look at theta being 45. Again, if I write that, you will get those answers respectively. Right, guys, I'm just doing this so that if you find one of these angles, like your 210, 150, 390, 330, so that you can be able to write that in terms of the reduction formula. And then you're going to look at this example, and then you're going to see how that is useful. Okay, but obviously with practice, you don't have to, rewrite this every time you are confronted with problems like this in an exam. So if you look at that example there, we're supposed to simplify sine 135 times cos 210 divided by tan of 300. Now immediately when I look at 135, okay, 135 can be written or can be reduced using reduction formula and be written in terms of, do I have 135 there? Yes, I do have 135 there. 135 is the same thing as 180 degrees minus 45. So I'm using now the special angle to reduce 135. So therefore, I can write that 135 as 180 minus 45, as well as 210 degrees can be reduced. I do have 210 somewhere there. Yes, it's 180 plus 30 degrees is 210, right? As well as tan of 300 can be reduced as well using a reduction formula and special angles. Do I have 300 there in one of what I've written there? Yes, 360 degrees minus 60 is 300. Okay, so therefore I can write that as sine of 180 minus 45 will be 135, cos of 180 plus 30 will be 210, and then 360 minus 60 degrees will be 300. Okay, now then what I'll do is I'll have to apply my cast diagram. We used to memorize this as saying all students take chemistry or all students take commerce, whatever that is suiting you in that class. And it used to be a very big debate during our time when we were learners. Right, so it doesn't matter which one you use, but that is the cast diagram that will tell you which trig ratios is positive and negative in which quadrant. Okay, so if I look at 180 minus 45, 180 minus 45, sine of 180 minus 45, I'm going to say now 180 minus 45. Where is 180 minus 45? It's going to be in the second quadrant. Then I ask myself, is sine positive or negative in that quadrant? Sine will be positive. Okay, if I apply that, I'll get sine 45 degrees, and sine is positive. And then I look at cos 210 degrees. 210 will be again in the third quadrant. And then I ask myself, is cos positive or negative in that quadrant? Cos in that quadrant will be negative. So I'm going to have negative cos of 30 degrees. Because cos is negative in that quadrant. Only 10 is positive in the third quadrant. Therefore, I can also look at 360 minus 60 degrees and ask myself, which quadrant is that? It's going to be in that quadrant. And 10 is what in that quadrant? 10 will be negative in that quadrant. So I'll get negative tan of 60 degrees. Right, if you use the special angles that you have written earlier on, you should find that sine 45 degrees will be 1 over root 2. And then I multiply by negative root 3 over 2, which is equivalent to cos of 30 degrees. And then this should be all be divided by negative root 3 over 1. Because sine, negative tan 60 degrees will be negative root 3 over 1. Right, so I've put the brackets there to indicate that all this is part of my numerator, and then this is the division divided by tan of 60 degrees, which is root 3 over 1. Okay. Now, if I multiply the brackets, I should find negative root 3 over root 2 over 2 root 2, and then I change this division to be a multiplication. Remember, when you change a division to multiplication, the fraction changes. So my 1 is going to be the numerator, and my root 3 is going to be my denominator. So I'm going to get that. Okay, 1 over negative root 3, and negative root 3 is at the top, negative root 3 is at the bottom. So those two they can cancel out, and then I'll be left with 1 over 2 root 2. That would be my answer for that problem. Guys, I think if you have managed, if you're managing to write or to look at 135, 210, and 300 and be able to write this in a using reduction formula, you should be able to sort out this type of problems. Right, so let us look at the exercise that I want you to do. I want you to calculate cos 225 times sine of 150, tan of 210 divided by tan of 210, as well as number 2 there, as well as number 3. And then we will look at the solutions later on tomorrow. Okay, guys, please, you can also follow us on Facebook and like our page, which is Bright Minds Tuition KZN, and like our page, and then you can also follow us so that whatever that we post you'll be able to see. Okay, always remember to remain indoors as per the government, and stay safe. Okay, thank you.